Hey, It's So Real family. It's your girl Rocqi from the It's So Real podcast. Please subscribe and help grow our channel. And today on Rocqi's Reactions, I will be reacting to Abba and Preach. The title is, What Do Fathers Provide Other Than Money? Men Are Disposable, #1. And I will include the link to this video in the description box below, so make sure you check them out. I have previously done a reaction to this video. However, my life partner's Oso's phone was on the Bluetooth to his headphones, so it did not record my voice. So it's been a while, so we'll see how I do recording this. But Father's Day is coming up, so I was like, well, let me just give it some time so I didn't forget the topic and I can react more genuinely. And Father's Day is coming up, so it'll be controversial because controversy sells. Speaking of which, check out the other videos in Rocqi's Reactions. Make sure you subscribe. All right, let's get into it.
Today's topic is yet another video that makes me realize that men are disposable. It is wild. I had a full Instagram live that blew me away. Ladies basically coming on and saying that men are not necessary for the future of humanity. I'm gonna play the video.
Yes. So apparently you feel some type of way. It said, I think you said that you really want to be a mother on your own.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So what's really smart is reacting to your own videos, because that's just your content. We gonna get there. But yes, just to point out, Abba and Preach are reacting to Abba interviewing a woman. Okay? All right.
It's not really wannabe. It's like it's gonna happen. It's happening. So I'm 27, and I've wanted a kid since I was 23, but I've waited because I was with a partner. He didn't want a child, and so afterwards I was like, okay, well, like this is not gonna work. So I split up with him, and I started looking for like somebody else. Couldn't find anybody else. Tried, still looking. And then I was like, you know what? Actually, I could actually just do this by myself. Why can I do it by myself? So the thing is, like, I'm getting ready for this. Like, financially, I'm putting myself in like a good position. Buying what I believe I need to buy. I'm also doing my research. And it's not like I'm just going to jump into it. It's like I'm actively just preparing myself to do this. So yeah, I was raised by a single mother. My father makes like way less than my mom does. My mom is like at a high position. She makes good money. My father is a bus driver in France. He makes like bare minimum wage. Yeah, he has like advantages, but like it doesn't really do much. She doesn't even collect like child. Yeah.
So basically, because he
Okay. I'm about to go off. All right, so first I do want to reiterate. Oh, make sure you check out my Becoming a Feminine Woman series on my personal YouTube channel, Life is Rocqi. Please subscribe. Also put that link in the description box below. So let me just say, when I was 25, I was in a situationship with Oso. Monogamy wasn't working. I didn't know that at the time. But like, here was a man who was aligning in so many of the things that I had manifested, and yet he didn't want to commit to a relationship with me. So I was like, all right, I'm 25, I have 2 degrees, I'm working on becoming a licensed clinician professional, and I have this man who checks majority of my boxes, and it's not working out with him. So at 25, I was like, all right, romantic life partnership may not be in the cards for me. And I accepted that. It was like a year's acceptance process full of crying and just being in it and that hard truth, you know, but I accepted it. And at that stage, I was like, all right, well, I still want children. Like, I love being around children. My mom and my sister had in-home daycares. I grew up around children. I love babies and being around them. Like, I love connecting with them in that way. So I was like, I still want children. Now, I said I would give myself a few more years. I was like, all right, because I was 25 at that. I was like, okay, if I'm 28 and I don't have any prospects, then I'll start seriously looking into this. However, I was aware that support would have been crucial. Like, I did not, like, yes, I was like, that would be single mom by choice, but I was like, no, I need support. I'm not going to do this by myself. So one, I need men around to be a positive male role model. I recognize that. And then I also was like, I need like people, like I can't do this by myself. Raising a child by yourself is no joke. That shit is hard. That's a struggle. Like, so I was aware that I would need that community support to help me with that. But it was something like, well, I would look into this if by 28 it's not happening. So I do understand where she's coming from because I had that perspective when I was younger than her.
Do you think you would have made the situation not any better?
Oh, let me run.
Yeah. She doesn't even collect like child. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that she's
basically,
only
because
referring
you
to the
couldn't
money.
Provide, do you think you would have made the situation not any better?
Yeah, basically. Like it would just like I feel like he would have been more of a weight than a help.
And yeah, and you don't feel like you missed out on anything with not having a father?
No.
Cool.
If I look at like a stereotypical movie, then yeah, I didn't play baseball or whatever with my dad. It was like throwing me the ball and I was hitting it. Like, oh,
Right.
First off, what movies are you watching where the daughter is doing that with the father? Please let me know in the comments below. Okay? Secondly, why is that your only reference to do something sport-wise with your father? Like, the fact that you don't even know what you missed out on shows how much you missed out on. One, I come from a two-parent household. Sure, the divorced after 35 years when I was in grad school, but growing up, it was a two-parent household. And I was very much a daddy's girl. We would watch movies together and documentaries, and we would talk and analyze shit. And yeah, he would tell me stories all the time. Like, I learned so much from my father. He set so much foundation for my self-awareness, for my love of learning, my love of growth, and understanding different aspects as people relate to each other. He had me reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, like for teenagers at a early age. He had me go to his class that he had taught the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like, and we don't get along now because he stopped growing and I'm still growing, but that's a different story. But like growing up, like, he was so instrumental to who I am. And I sent him thank you cards for that because I'm like, yeah, I understand the lessons and values that you instilled in me. And I'm so thankful for it because I knew at that time I was ahead of my peers. And it's that wisdom that he was providing me. And he was also trying to do things differently than my sister, who he didn't. Like, he was absent from the first 5 years of her life. So that connection was already gone. Whereas for me, he was very much more of an intentional parent. Now, sure, he was grooming me in narcissistic terms. But in my eyes then, he was very intentional about how he wanted to raise me. So he had me reading on the potty. My bed was a bookcase, or like the windows was a bookcase for my toddler bed. So he was very instrumental in making sure that I did well in school and making sure I had the resources I needed. Now, sure, my dad did have some money. He worked for IBM first, but I don't know if that was when I was alive, and Lockheed Martin. But yeah, the fact that she doesn't even know what she missed out on and she's equating it to that. I'm like, girl, self-awareness. Please go to therapy. Please. And you want to bring a child into this world and you can't even see what benefit having a masculine energy around your child would do? Good God, woman.
Could you imagine that another person in your situation would have liked to have a father?
Yes.
Okay. And so you couldn't imagine that your child is going to go through that exact same thing?
Yes, which is why so I don't want to get just like a sperm donor. Like, I'm looking for in my situation where I want to be a single mother, I'm looking for somebody who I know or somebody who I will eventually meet that will be okay with providing me the sperm, but will stay in touch with the child if the child wants to be in touch with them.
Okay.
So basically an open adoption. Listen, I support and advocate for two people coming together and say, hey, romantically, this isn't going to work. However, co-parenting wise, our values align, how we want to raise our children align. We're not meeting any other romantic people. We are getting up there. We do want to have children and we communicate well. We resolve conflict. We think we can make this co-parenting work. Anaje's cousin is an example of that. And I think they have a beautiful relationship where it's like, yes, like the parents have separate houses. They trade off days for their daughter, but they still like go on family vacations and have family dinner night and stuff like that. And then she's the mom, who's Oso's cousin, is very much a part of his family because that's her daughter and that's her daughter's family as well. So I think that's a beautiful example of what could exist. Also, the show Marlon with Marlon Wayans with Ashley and Marlon, they were divorced and yet they had a beautiful co-parenting relationship. And yeah, I definitely think it's possible. I think more people should strive for that because if you choose who you're going to raise your children with, who you want to be the parents of your children, who you want to co-parent with first, I feel you're like, I hope you are a lot more logical in taking time to assess that. And even to the couple I was speaking about earlier, Oso's family, they took a year talking about it to make sure they worked out all the details. They were in their logical mind before they were like, okay, let's start trying. So yeah, that is one thing, right? Two, a single parent and a parent who is single are two different things. And I don't know why a whole bunch of single mothers don't get that. Like, you're so prioritizing the romantic relationship that you just, like, no, the father's still involved. Like, the whole petition for Father's Day being banned, like, y'all got some emotional growth work to do. Because that day don't got shit to do with you and your choices of the people you decided to reproduce with. Okay? Like, or sperm donor. Like, the fuck? No. Mother's Day is your holiday. Celebrate that. Father's Day is for fathers. Get the fuck out of here. And yes, I advocate for a Parents' Day for all of the non-binary, gender fluid, whatever, parents as well. But and both. Don't take away.
If that man who gives you the sperm and stays in touch, if he has like another family and other kids, and prioritizes them over your child, what are you going to do then?
This question, I feel like, yeah, if someone's intentional about like, no, this is my child, I'm going to take care of them, I feel like this is less likely to happen because it's your child. And again, if you are doing that to the child, what the fuck is wrong with you and why are you reproducing? This is a living being. Like, do you know the trauma you're about to cause them? Jesus. Listen, go on Life is Rocqi. My personal YouTube link is in the description box below. Subscribe and check out my Parenthood poem because I let it all out. Because some people don't deserve to be parents even though they can reproduce. Like, no. So check out that poem to hear more of my thoughts on that. Matter of fact, I might link it in the description box below. Because the fuck.
I mean, like, it's like, I'm going to be totally honest with the child, like, how the situation is.
Test tube, baby.
That we are an abnormal family and that we're not like a conventional.
The fuck? Why the hell would you use abnormal? See, this is how I know you ain't thought about this shit. Because abnormal would definitely make the child feel like a freak. The fuck? You use non-traditional. We are outside the norm. And see, again, this is, oh my God. People don't know how to raise children. And stay tuned for my parenting classes, as well as my parenting videos on Life is Rocqi YouTube channel. And of course, we'll be doing a parenting series on our podcast. Please subscribe. It's a real podcast. Because... Lord, nobody was taught nothing. But anyways, how Oso and I plan to raise our children is telling them that families come in all shapes and sizes. Some of them have a mom and a dad. Some of them have two moms. Some of them have two dads. Some of them have a mom, a dad, a mom, a dad, a mom, and dad. And some of them could be together in a relationship and some of them may not be. And they just look all different. And sometimes it's just a mom or sometimes it's just a dad. They just look all different. And that's a part of society. That is what the norm is. The fact that every family is fucking different. You piece of shit. I'm sorry. Like this, I'm very protective of children being brought into the world. This is touching a nerve. Again, check out that poem because it was definitely a slam poetry piece.
You know, he is not conventionally being brought up. Probably going to be teased about it at school. It's not going to be easy, etc. And then I'm also going to explain.
I mean, honestly, all you got to do is say, I probably wouldn't say this at school because some kids may tease you. Like, if you just, my daddy left, then you like everybody else. So just leave that part out, you know?
To him, like the situation with his dad, like whether he can contact him or not.
And kids are mean, Jesus.
And all of that.
Okay, but you understand the child didn't choose this life, that you chose it for him.
I didn't ask to be here.
You're telling him after the fact that he has to deal with something that's not ideal and very hurtful and potentially.
It's not ideal. It's just that it's not the usual. But I'm not like.
No, it's not ideal.
It's not ideal. You don't know what it's going to be like for the child. You're saying that from your perspective as you as an individual. You don't know what the child's going to want. So when you say that, you're saying that after the fact, the child's been brought into this world. You brought him, right? He didn't ask to be brought here. And then afterwards, you'd be like, by the way, because of the way that I wanted to bring you into this world, you're not going to have a father. I mean, he gave you sperm and he brought you here, but he's got his own family now, and he probably is more focused on them. Do you understand? Like, he's already here. He can't choose to leave. He can't go back up your womb like, I don't like this offer. I'm out. I want to bring a child in this world because I really want one. And it might not be a situation he likes. I recognize he might get bullied for it and he might dislike it, but I'm going to tell him and I'm going to have a conversation. Well, that doesn't matter if you have a conversation with him or her.
Yeah, it doesn't change the feelings.
You only told them after you put them in that situation. That's like me bringing you to a party, okay? And everyone there is violent. I lock the door behind you and I'm like, by the way, people in here are violent, so you might get punched. Does that sound like it makes sense?
I mean, no, but
she wants a child.
I'm asking you a different
so
question.
It doesn't matter.
Is the child your priority?
Yes.
Do you acknowledge the fact that for most people raised in single parent households, the outlook on life is not very positive in terms of like the numbers and all these other issues? Do you recognize that?
Well, I haven't looked at the numbers. I just heard it in.
If the child is your priority, then you're concerned about the child's well-being over what you want. Now, sure, you can't pour from an empty cup, so I'm not referring to that. But the child's well-being is important. So you have to understand how they're going to view things, get them in therapy if they need it. So say if you adopt a child, automatically have therapy within the budget, you know, because abandonment trauma is real. And it doesn't matter what you do for that child, they're still going to have to go through that process. And you need to understand that, you know. It doesn't mean you should stop yourself from adopting a child. And see, I honestly would probably adopt a child before, like, yes, I wanted to experience pregnancy, but all that's going to cost a mint. So I'd rather just adopt a child. But, yeah, this, keep going.
Your live stream in.
Bro, ask me how this girl says she's been researching and preparing to be a single parent, and she doesn't even know the numbers. She doesn't know the stats. She hasn't read the research. She hasn't read the literature. Nothing.
Because she's going to research on what? She's not going to. She's going to research on what I need to do to raise a kid. I need to
have money. That's what she researched. That she needs to save. That's it.
And that's pretty much it. Well, I'm not concerned about the mental.
She's not concerned. Yeah, she's not concerned about the biopsychosocial development of the child.
Well, because not concerned about the predicament. Well, concerned about that. It's not the first thing that comes to mind. People, whenever they tell the story of themselves, they set them out to be their hero. So she sets out to be, you know what? I'm going to do a great job. It's all good. I'm going to do that. I'm going to sit him down. I'm going to talk to him, and everything's going to be fine. You're not looking at the fact that it's a possibility that your child look at you and be like, so let me get this straight, Mom. You just decided that my life is gonna be hell, knowing that, and you just put me there, and everything's gonna be fine. Yeah. Well, you're fucking stupid, because a child can do that. A rebellious child can absolutely tell you, "Yo, you're fucking idiot. You're stupid."
Maybe
Listen
not
to
in
my
that
poem.
language, but they
Listen
can
to my
eventually.
poem.
I can tell you right now, there are so many kids from single parent households who resent their parent because their parent pushed away their father or their mother.
That's
Definitely.
terrible.
Or always
That is
spoke terribly about
Like,
one
what
of
the
them.
fuck are
And
you
so as a
on?
result, they're like, yo, you pitted me against him or her, and they weren't nearly as bad. There's so many people like that.
Yep.
So, and people
But
think,
it's not gonna happen. But Abba,
but
it's not gonna happen to me, because I'm gonna sit him down and we're gonna have a discussion. So it's gonna be
and this is the thing that kills me. It's like, listen, transparency isn't a blanket forgiveness check. Just because you're
Yeah.
transparent with someone after the fact, it doesn't mean that you've done a good thing. You can't slap someone and be like, I did it because I was angry at you afterwards, and think it makes it okay. That's not the way it works.
Yep.
I don't know. It blows me away because this person's talking about, I've done all this research, I've prepared, I've done all that. I'm like, great, fantastic, good for you. Do you know the numbers? Do you know the stats? Do you know the studies? Have you researched like the literature on children from these kind of households?
And this is actually an interesting point, because remember, I and my life partner also are polyamorous. So I've actually done some research. There's little research out there, but there's starting to become more as the awareness grows of kids of polyamorous parents or families. However, the things that I have seen, like I saw someone who was raised in a polyamorous household have a TED Talk, and they've shown like examples of families and what the kids are actually saying on YouTube and stuff like that. And to them, what they see is more love, more time spent with them, more support. Like if one parent can't do something for them, another parent can, so I'm seeing more of the positive implications. However, polyamory is still stigmatized. Yes, it's growing in awareness, but it is still stigmatized. It's still discriminated. It's not a protected class right now. So some people can lose custody of the kids because of it. So like there are a lot of legal issues, and just social issues that could make it an issue for the child. And that's something to consider when we have children, specifically, like if they describe their family to their peers or their teacher for an assignment, or if like one of our partners goes to pick up the kids at school. Like, yeah, that conversations would need to be had, and no, they didn't choose that. But again, I'm also queer. So I'm already raising them like families are different, relationships are different. That needs to be the norm. Anybody who's not accepting of that, we need to question them. Why does life have to exist in their box by their rules? Let's question that,
What is it like when there's a sperm donor? Have you even looked into what the stories are like, or what the numbers say for kids in those environments and how they're raised? Like, it frightens me just how flippant people are with like, yeah, the kid's not gonna need a dad. How could you?
I don't get that.
I just got a Brazilian one.
Oh,
And then I had sex.
it's an ad. Get your money up and preach. And I'm so thankful for also being the father of my children, future children. I'm not pregnant. Stop tripping. Yet. But yeah, I'm so thankful for him being the father, because he's just a great man, and he's a great role model of a man to be for both all of my children, no matter the gender. And then his playfulness and his music and his balance, like some of these things I just don't have. But I mean, I have playful, but whoo, does he beat me on that? And just also his wisdom. He's so wise in spirit and in character. And I'm so glad for all the things he's going to teach them. So she bugging. Like hockey.
She
bugging.
acknowledged, she understood that even though she says she claimed she didn't need a father and she was fine without it, which, maybe she was. Maybe she's one of the few, right? She says that, right? And then I asked her, if someone else was in your circumstance, could you imagine that they needed a dad? And she's like, yeah, I could imagine that. I'm like, so you can't imagine that your child would be feeling the same way? That never occurred to you? No?
But she went, well, I know, it's just that, and change the subject. They don't really...
They never address it. They never address it.
No, they never address it. They don't stop and listen to... No, did you listen to what I just said to you?
No.
Did you listen, or you really what you actually really want is more important? They never address it. It's just like, yeah, okay, I heard you. Yeah, you heard. You didn't
But they
listen.
want what they want.
I do know other single parented people, and they're fine.
Okay, let's be careful. Let's be careful. I'm not talking about anecdotes. I got my experience. That's wonderful. You got your experience. That's wonderful. But we can't do anecdotal, right? Because I can point to 3 families who did great, and I can point to 10 families who did terrible.
And then what's I turned out fine? What does that mean? Where are you emotionally and relationally? Let's assess in a therapeutic lens, please.
What does a father bring other than the finances? Like what
Mentorship, guidance, a male perspective. It's completely different. It affects women actually far more. Because women grow up to be far more attached to their fathers than they ever do their mothers. And that is a pattern that is constantly repeated across every society. That's why they have the term daddy's girl.
I was one.
That's a very common thing. So when you say to me, like, what importance, it's like, this is like a new thing in society now, where we're like starting to downplay the importance and the influence of having a male or a father figure in people's lives. And we're turning it obsolete. And when you sit there and you ask me, like, what importance, that's frightening. That you like don't even have any idea of what a child may be missing out on by not having a father. I understand that you may think you're okay with it and that you are fine, and maybe you are. I'm not trying to tell you you're broken or whatever. But a lot of other people out there are. And just because you were cool with it doesn't mean your child will be. So if you say you're ready and you're preparing, I doubt that you prepare enough, because it doesn't seem like you understand why a child needs a father. And that frightens me, that you think you're ready to bring a child in this world, but you don't understand why a kid may need a father. Do you not see how crazy?
I'm not ready. I am preparing.
Right, but that should be something. But you're saying you're going to do this by yourself. That should be one of the first things you learn about. All right, if I'm going to make this decision without a father, what does that mean to not know that a father's not going to be there? The fact that you don't know that, and you say you're preparing, like, how's that one of the first steps that you take before you get your finances in order, before you do anything else? I should not know that.
Most people talk about the finances, so that that's what I've been focusing on.
Oh! And if we had some magical, mystical way to control who was allowed to conceive, the capitalists would turn it into a white rich thing. So we can't even hope for that. But, oh Lord. First of all, you saving money means you're going through with it. So please assess if this is the right thing for you to do first. And in that assessment, that would go into what are the impacts of having a father, or the absence of a father in a child's life. I don't know how much more of this can take. We'll see.
I'm getting there, but this is interesting, and I'm definitely going to look into it. But
please do, because I can bring on a whole bunch of people here who are from single parent households, and I'm telling you, they'll tell you, like, not having a dad or mom in my life fucked me up.
I'm gonna scuba dive without an oxygen tank. The first thing you should look at is what are.
So, side note, my niece, she's 5 months younger than me. My mom and my sister were pregnant at the same time. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But that being said, my sister was a teen mom, as was my mom, but my mom was 18. My sister was 17. So, my niece's father wasn't really there, and she actually has a terrible relationship with him. It's been on and off for years, but they've reached a point now where I don't think it's coming back, just because he got some serious work to do. But I've seen the impact on my niece because of that, and how she just hoped he would be there, and love her and not just show up with money. And it's interesting that this woman is like, what do fathers provide other than money? But when your dad is buying you gifts and that's all he's giving, it's not enough. And that's how I'm like, she has no idea what the biopsychosocial needs are of a child, nor child development. Because resources are one thing, but a presence of a parent is another. And again, like, my niece went back to therapy. She was working on stuff with her dad, and she does have a close relationship with her dad's side. And her dad's side, like, his parents don't get him either. So, and now she has a little brother through him, and she's close with her little brother, but like still with the father, she's distant. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Good God. Happy Father's Day to all the men who want to be in their child's life, who chose to be in their child's life, who understand the impact that they have on their child, who are trying to offer that child wisdom, who are playing with them and showing them the big picture and just offering that masculine energy, and are working on themselves to be a better person and therefore a better father. Like, good God. We got work to do, y'all. We have got work to do. But all right, I'm about to record another reaction video. So make sure you subscribe and like and share. I feel like these conversations need to be had. I'm going to react to Chantel Simone's video, and that one's shorter, so hopefully it won't be as long, but it's about the similar topic, but I think from like looking at what the single mother had to experience. So stay tuned, subscribe, check out Rocqi's reactions playlist to see my other reactions to other videos. I've done Abba and Preach, Chantel Simone. I believe I did a Kevin Samuels on our IG, but I will be doing another one at some point. MTR, or Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, I've done. And I may do a Fresh and Fit in the future. So, and I think I did a Roommates podcast reaction as well. So those are the ones that I've been reacting to so far. Did I say it's complicated? Them too, because they have great questions. So if you want me to react to any certain videos, please send the link in the comments below. I'll see what it's about and see if I want to react to it. But make sure you subscribe and take care of you. Learn something. Grow, please. Good God. Peace and love.